Quick note, this is an AI-assisted, 5-minute recap of a traditional Chinese podcast. The views belong to the hosts and their guests. Episode 59 asks, if a weapons blueprint were fully public, free to copy and improve, would that bring peace or danger? Now swap weapon for AI. Meta's Open Llama was hailed as the hero breaking the OpenAI and Google monopoly. But since this year's DeepSeek moment, Chinese models have climbed the public rankings. Hosting the talk is Qwen, with two returning guests, Richard Lin, a veteran of the open-source world, and Chen. Right now, NVIDIA and AMD can again sell GPUs into China, but only tweaked models, and reportedly with a 15% cut paid to the US, almost a protection fee. Chinese state media calls those chips expensive, power-hungry, and a security risk. Yet the market stays red-hot, the guests say, nearly sold out. It is a contradiction. Open-source AI speeds the technology's global spread, while both Washington and Beijing try to control that spread through chips. Richard says his love of openness began not with software but with Taiwan's PTT forums, where making information public and free proved to have real value. Curiosity about why a coder would give away a browser's source code led him to open source, then Academia Sinica, and later China's tech scene, Huawei, and 01.ai. Back in Taiwan, he finds many firms still unsure what open source is, drawn less by the word freedom than by the word free. But free and open source differ, he argues. Much free software is bait, free for individuals, then it charges the moment a business uses it. Open source lets industry build cheaply and flexibly, say, adding a large model's judgment to a factory's rigid, hard-coded automation. And Chinese software firms, he says, increasingly open source their work to make their own product the world standard. In Closed AI, the guests place the big three, OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and Anthropic, plus Grok at the very top. In open source, the strongest names are now Chinese, Alibaba's Qwen, DeepSeek, Jipu's GLM, and the newer Kimi, with Qwen the most committed to the open path. Lucy calls Jipu a national team. Its researchers come from Tsinghua, it partners with the BAAI Institute, and its money and customers are Chinese. To compare them, Richard opens LM Arena, an unofficial board where over 3 million people blind test two models and vote for the better answer. The top tiers are all closed, led by GPT-5. But Qwen and Kimi now reach the first tier 2, where open models once never ranked above 7th place. He decodes the names. 235B is total parameters, A22B the active ones in a mixture of experts model, and an Apache or MIT tag means truly open, unlike closed proprietary ones. So how does open source make money? Richard flips it, does closed source make money? Even ChatGPT and Claude Code, he argues, still lose money, since training is so costly. For now everyone is just claiming ecological turf, like Google with Search and Gmail, where end users pay nothing and enterprises foot the bill. DeepSeek earns little directly, yet vendors load it free onto machines to sell hardware, which is why, he jokes, NVIDIA's Jensen Huang should thank DeepSeek. Could an open model be cut off, as Huawei lost Android? It depends, Richard says. One company owning all the code can quietly turn the next version closed. But a version once released cannot be revoked. Open source, he says, is a thing you cannot take back. Foundation-governed projects are more trustworthy, though a foundation is still registered in some country, how the US once blocked Iran from GitHub. Why are Chinese firms so eager to open source? To go global. DeepSeek's breakout this year, an unknown outside the Six Tigers, made open source the consensus. A closed model is a black box outsiders distrust, especially from China. An open one can be tested, fine-tuned, and realigned to each region's idea of correct. He recalls Huawei open sourcing code so British Telecom could check it for backdoors, proof, he says, that openness wins trust and keeps customers. On chips, Lucy says the H20 is strong for inference and in huge demand, but sanctions cut NVIDIA's China share below half and spurred Huawei's ascend. Still, Richard notes, CUDA's 14-year ecosystem is a deep moat. Banning Python, his analogy goes, would hurt at first, yet might push China to build past it. Both guests land together, politics may divide, but academia stays borderless. Their thought experiment for you: open source your breakthrough for all, or keep it secret for yourself.